If you use soil that holds on to too much moisture and the temperatures are really high, you actually get fungal growth and algae growth on the top of your starts. Hey guys, it's Brijette with San Diego Seed Company, and welcome to our newest videos, Garden Revisited. These are videos that I'm shooting now because I don't know if you can tell, I got a baby in the oven, or what do they say? I don't know what it's called. I'm pregnant. I'm gonna have another child. So we're shooting some videos in advance so that we can have content for you while I'm snuggling with our second little boy this year. And what's great about these is we're not just reshooting videos. I have a laundry list of questions that you guys have left. And so we're gonna revisit those questions and clarify and add new information that we've learned. Because, you know, in the garden, it's just like life. Everything continues to change, and we learn every year, and we want to share it with you. Now, the first step in being successful is let's watch these videos that we shot before with 4 tips on how you can start your cool season crops and get the basics under your belt, and then we'll answer some questions after. You want to find a cool place to start your seeds. Now, as you saw, our greenhouse is way too hot, and some parts of our garden are even too hot. So what do? We actually start our seeds under the beautiful shade of this gorgeous jacaranda tree. It allows for dappled shade and a really good wind or breeze that keeps the temperatures on average about 10 degrees cooler than the rest of the garden. Now, if you don't have a gorgeous jacaranda tree that you want to start your seeds under, you can actually create a protected environment that you can start your seeds in. You can use a product like our shade cloth, and you can simply drape it over anything that will allow you to put the seeds underneath to keep them protected. Your main goal is you want to keep them away from the really harsh sun, and you want to keep them, their soil temperature a lot cooler than it is outside. You really want to pick the right soil, okay? And it's a little counterintuitive. You would think because we're so hot, you want soil that holds a lot of moisture. This is true. But what can happen is if you use soil that holds on to too much moisture and the temperatures are really high, you actually get fungal growth and algae growth on the top of your starts, the trays and the seeds, which is really bad for the seedlings' growth. So I'm going to showcase here 2 different types of soil so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is our sun grow propagation mix that we use during any other part of the year. You'll notice that it's really fine, has a lot of peat moss, and it has very fine particles in it. There's not large parts of perlite or vermiculite. It's a very fine substance. This will hold on to a lot of moisture. In fact, in the summertime, when it's really hot, it holds on to too much moisture, and we end up having issues in our greenhouse or on our seed starting tables underneath our tree. This product, on the other hand, has very large pieces of perlite. And it's a little more, the soil is coarser. Now, why do we want that? We want that because that's gonna allow for the moisture to move through the soil better and air to get inside. With this product here, we have very little fungal issues in the summertime. Whereas with a product that's really fine and holds on to tons of moisture, when the temperatures are really warm, you just get a lot of fungus growth and it's really not good. Bottom watering. Okay, this is a big tip that we discovered years ago, and it makes all the difference for us. We get these trays from Johnny's, and they're just basic trays. You don't have to get something this fancy. You really can use anything. But the idea is that you're watering from the bottom of the tray so that the soil can suck up all of the moisture. And what that allows the soil to do is, once the water is evaporated or used up in the tray, the top of the soil can actually dry out. Why do you want that to happen? Well, when it's 90 degrees, 85, 80 degrees outside, and the soil stays really moist, you're going to get fungal growth, and that's not good for your plants. So by watering from the bottom, you can keep the top dry and allow it to dry out and decrease your issues that you have with fungal growth and dampening off and things like that. This particular set of starts here, we only watered once, and we've been in a total heat wave the last week. But because it's good soil and it's in a protected part of the garden, I've only needed to water once, and you can see we've already got all kinds of great stuff popping up. You really want to start your seeds in an area that has good airflow. Why? Well, as I've mentioned in my other videos, mold and fungal growth can really destroy your seedlings when they're germinating. And so by having good airflow, you can help offset that. Additionally, airflow helps your little seedlings to grow strong and actually become better starts. We start our seeds here in this part of the garden because it's protected from really harsh sun, and we get a nice airflow that always keeps the seedlings moving a little bit. Now let's say you don't have a good spot in your garden to start your seeds, and maybe you're doing it between two buildings and the air is really stagnant. I'll tell you a little secret weapon. Something as simple as a fan can really make all the difference. This is just a very cheap box fan, and you can set it up to blow air across your seedlings. All right, so now that you've watched the basics on how to start your cool season crops in the hottest part of the year, let me tell you a few things that are really important. First of all, if you are a new gardener in zone 9 and 10, and what do I mean by that? If you're like me and you moved from Kansas to San Diego and you feel like growing in San Diego is like growing on the moon, or maybe you move from Ohio to LA, trust me, you're gonna be confused on the seasons. I still am sometimes, but we've made a calendar that'll tell you exactly what to plant every single month for zone 9 and 10. If you don't know what zone you are, look it up. You can figure it out. But that's most of California and most of the southern states are zone 9 and 10. So that's gonna be really helpful. Next thing you have to have, it's like, I mean, have to, is shade cloth. We are so hot in August, September, and October that to start cool season crops, you have to have a little bit of protection. This is a 40% shade cloth. We sell it online, and you really can't use any more than 40%. I'll talk more details about that, but shade cloth is important. We've got somebody that asked about Santa Anas. Okay, Santa Anas. It's like a whole nother part of why starting cool season crops in the fall is really difficult. If you don't know what Santa Anas are, they are really dry, desiccating winds that blow from the east. So instead of blowing from the ocean, they're blowing from the desert. They bring in very low humidity and very hot temperatures, which is kind of the opposite of what you need for seed starting. During those periods, if we're having extreme Santa Anas, they usually only last like a week. It might be a good idea to just pause, stop, reset, maybe not do your seed starting then. If you feel like, gosh, I have to start it this week and it's gonna be extra hot, again, I'm going back to this guy right here. Shade cloth is going to block out a percentage of the UV light. It's gonna make the area underneath the shade cloth cooler. It's gonna hold in humidity. And the other thing is you need some type of tray underneath your 6-pack. And look, this is literally just a lunch tray. I don't care what it is. It can be a really fancy 1020 tray. It can be a Tupperware. It doesn't matter. Having a reservoir that will hold onto water is really going to help hold in moisture so that your plants can survive past that short period of time where we have really low humidity and hot heat. So question number 2 is about sunlight. So in the video we just watched, you saw that I'm starting my fall seeds underneath the semi-dappled shade of a beautiful jacaranda tree. And that might be counterintuitive, which I understand, because you might think, well, aren't you going to get lanky seedlings? Well, yes and no. First of all, growing in that shaded area gives me the ability to start seeds during a very hot time of the year. And additionally, the leaves of the tree are really just doing basically the same thing as this. It's blocking out a percentage of the sunlight. It's not making my hours of sunlight so short that I get really lanky seedlings. Now that's not to say that that isn't a fabulous question, because depending on where you are, you might have to do some maneuvering where you're literally moving your trays in and out of areas of more shade and less shade. You watch them very closely, so the moment you see them looking a little long, you know more sunlight is needed. When we're talking about cool season crops, right, we're starting them in August when the sunlight is starting to wane, okay? And this, I just drew this morning. Don't, it's not absolutely perfect, but it's more or less shows the hours of sunlight in San Diego, starting in January with 10 hours, going up to the longest day, which is a little over 14 hours, and coming back down. The reason why we start those cool season crops in August is we're going on the period of time where it's starting to wane. Cool season crops want to grow in hours of sunlight that are shorter. And so that's why if you plant your cool season crops, like this is what happens a lot of time. People plant their broccoli in January because it's nice and cool. The hours of sunlight continue to get longer and longer. And what happens about April? They're going to flower. because the hours of sunlight are telling the plant biologically that's what it needs to do. So keep that in mind. It's all about working this system. Farming and gardening is really about finding the intersection between temperature, you can see I've got temperature here, and hours of sunlight, and where your crops are going to thrive the best. If you're a professional grower of brassicas in zone 9 and 10, you know you start the seeds anywhere in August. Hey look, I forgot a month. September, which is hilarious. That's the month I'm due. That's funny that I forgot that. Okay, anyways, there's a whole nother month in here, September, which is gonna fly by. So August or September, you start your cool season crops. You're getting them in the ground. You're getting the seedlings started and getting them in the ground where they can take advantage of the hours of sunlight getting shorter. So you get nice tight heads of broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and all of your brassicas. Now just to reiterate my point, most of the time when you get really lanky, long, leggy seedlings, it's when you're starting your seedlings underneath artificial light that's not as powerful as sunlight, and the actual lights are not close enough to the plant, so they're reaching and reaching. Another thing is, I have literally never been successful at starting seedlings in a south-facing window because oftentimes that's just not enough sunlight for them to be happy. All right, so question number 3, which is a great question, is basically, can you cheat the system and can you start your seedlings even earlier? So this person's asking if they can start some of them in July so that they have them ready even earlier. Great question, but let's look at this intersection between temperature and sunlight. So if we were to start, say, brassica seedlings in July, and for those who don't know, brassica seedlings are broccoli, cabbage, or cauliflower, big crops for the fall. We start them in July. We're going to start them when the sunlight is waning, but the hours of sunlight are still very, very long. The other big factor is look at the temperature. Now I just put 90 degrees. Again, this is not like a scientifically perfect graph. It's just to show you that the temperatures are going to get hotter throughout the different parts of the year, and then the hours of sunlight are longer. So if we start them here, you're going to have a really tough time keeping them happy. July, August, and then maybe September, they're gonna go in the ground. And they're gonna still grow very quickly because the hours of sunlight are really long. You're not likely to have happy plants. Additionally, July, August, and even parts of September, you're still gonna see thriving warm season crops, which are your zucchinis, your squash, your melons are gonna look great, your sunflowers are gonna continue to look great. So even though it might be tempting to start them that early, there's really too much sunlight and too much heat to have them grow happy. So that answers the top 3 questions for this video, and we want to hear from you. Are you still confused? Because that is what I feel like my personal mission is to help you be more confident in the garden. You can subscribe to this channel as we keep putting out videos. You can comment on this actual video with more questions, clarifying questions that you might have. Let me know, did you start your seeds? How are they going? I want to know. And then lastly, if you want to be a part of a growing community, we have a really cool program called Growing Together. And basically, it's this. What we're doing right now, we're learning together, but it's virtual. It has an online platform that's hosted on our website where you can learn monthly information. It's specific to zone 9 and 10. And the really killer part of it is you're in a cohort with the people of your month. And so you learn together throughout the whole year. You get discounts on products, events, classes. It's a way in which I can be with you in the garden and we can grow literally together, which is the point that we gave the name, obviously. So check it out. It's called the Growing Together membership. We'll link to it. It's a really great way to continue your learning journey and to become a really good gardener in zone 9 and 10.